once we have our silhouette transferred onto the paper, we're going to be using some paint. So I have some brushes set out and some black paint ready to go. When you're considering the brushes, we don't want any type of large brush, okay? And in fact, you generally speaking don't want to use a brush that is squared off like this one is, okay? The brushes that you want to look for are going to be like these ones here, where they come up to a point. Okay, that gets you the fine detail. Anything with a squared end like this can't get you the fine detail that we need on these silhouettes. And again, we obviously don't want to go to a big brush. This big brush we use to paint the sky, okay? But now we need to get into fine detail, so we're going to be taking smaller brushes. Another tip would be, depending on which hand is your dominant hand, I'm right-handed, so I have my palette off on the right-hand side. Do not set it out here or out here, because then you'll be dipping down and reaching across your painting. If anything dripped onto your painting, that would be a problem. So always set the palette on the side of your dominant hand so that you can just dunk the brush and get right into it. A few tips while you're painting with black. Number one, move slowly and take your time. There's no rush to this, and in fact, this is the most important layer of all. I have never ever made a painting where I was 100% happy with the sky that I painted. But what I found is that if the silhouette is carefully painted, it's going to make any sky, no matter how bad you think it is to begin with, it's going to make any sky shine and look beautiful. So take your time and carefully paint. Tip number two, paint in the direction that the lines go, okay? Start in one spot and try to carefully pull the brush out for the full length of the line as far as you can manage it. Tip number three, constantly move your painting around. Always make sure that the line that you are trying to paint is clearly visible to you as you paint it. There is no set direction that the painting needs to be in while it's being painted. At the end, it will certainly be displayed in only one way, but you do not need to leave it set in just one way while you're painting. Constantly turn it so that you can see the lines that you're trying to paint, that your hand does not get in the way of where you're looking to paint. Tip number four, don't overload the brush. Only get the tip of the brush covered whenever you're going to set about painting these silhouettes. Make sure that the black paint is painted solidly, so that it gives it a really strong and powerful contrast against the colorful sky that you've painted already. Alright, there we go. I've got the tree painted on, and you can see what that sort of black does to contrast against the color of the sky. The last thing that I'm going to do with this little practice painting is I'm going to give it a little ground like this example has. Now the ground is a little bit fun. If you wanted to, you could take a pencil and sort of draw a line in. I'm just going to brush mine in. I'm going to try to give it little detail spots like this, like the spikes of grass going on it, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a curved line here to make it look like the ground, so that it's not perfectly straight and rigid, that it's almost like a hillside. Keep in mind too, you could practice, like in this example here. What I did was I painted black on the ground, and then I went through and I sponged several other colors, greens, yellows, and oranges, to make it look like there's grass, sand happening in the ground here as well. I even went through and sponged a little bit of green on top of the silhouette there to represent the green that would be in the palm tree. Something that I'm going to try to carefully do too, I put the silhouette so high here, I've got these clouds down, so what I want to do is let the ground head down so that I can reveal these clouds that are out here, okay? To get the little blades of grass to show up, what I tend to do is put very little paint on the brush. I hold the brush upright and I begin to Just give little spikes out. You could use a very small brush to get this done if you wanted to. There we go, that one's all set, it's ready to go.